Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to jump right in and break down a super practical playbook for finding and scaling AI use cases that actually deliver real value fast.
AI adoption is happening at an absolutely breathtaking pace. Get this, in just 2 years, 39% of adults in the US have already used it. That's nearly double the adoption rate of the early internet. It's moving incredibly fast.
And the companies that are out in front of this wave, well, they're seeing some serious results. We're talking 1.5 times faster revenue growth than their peers.
And yet, here's where it gets kind of wild. Despite all that potential, a recent McKinsey survey found that a whopping 99% of business leaders feel like their AI investments haven't even come close to reaching their full potential. Only 1% feel like they've really nailed it.
So that massive gap, that disconnect between the promise of AI and what's actually happening on the ground, well, that's our sweet spot. That's the opportunity. And today, we're going to walk through a simple 3-step playbook to help you close that gap.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. We'll start with that opportunity gap, then we'll dive into a 3-step method for finding high-impact uses, and finally, we'll talk about how to string these ideas into powerful workflows. Let's get into it.
Okay, first up, let's really frame this challenge. Because this isn't just about playing with the new tool. It's about getting a serious edge over the competition.
I love this quote from Stanford's Eric Brynjolfsson because it just nails it. The window for just playing around with AI, it's closing. The real wins are coming from targeted, strategic application, not just aimless experiments. So where on earth do you even begin? Well, the first step isn't about some super complex technology. It's way simpler than that. It's all about finding the most common, everyday frustrations in your workplace.
Think of AI as this incredible new assistant, right? And it's really good at 3 things. First, it can automate all those boring, repetitive, low-value tasks that just suck up everyone's time and energy. Second, it can smash through skill bottlenecks, helping people do things like data analysis without having to wait for an expert. And third, it can help you get unstuck. It's an amazing brainstorming partner.
Now here's a really powerful exercise to uncover these opportunities. Get your team to create what's called an anti-to-do list. Just ask them to write down all the tedious, annoying, manual stuff they wish they never had to do again. I'm telling you, that list is an absolute goldmine for high-impact AI use cases.
And this mindset is used by leaders at top companies, like Clairvaux over at LaunchDarkly. This one simple question, how can I make sure I never have to do this again? That's the perfect launchpad for figuring out where AI can free up your team for more important work.
So, you've identified the pain points. Now what? Well, the next step is to find a common language for the solutions. And this is where we get into the idea of AI primitives. It turns out that almost every AI business application can be broken down into 6 fundamental actions, or primitives. Think of them like Lego bricks. They're the basic building blocks you can use in any department for any role. You can even snap them together to build really powerful and complex workflows.
So let's take a look at a couple of these. First up, content creation. And listen, this is not just about writing a blog post for marketing. We're talking about generating a first draft of any text-based document your business needs, from sales scripts to technical guides to strategy docs.
And this is what's so cool. Look at how this one simple idea applies literally everywhere. Marketing can draft ad copy, sales can generate follow-up emails, and even the finance team can create first drafts of complex policy documents for an expert to come in and refine. And this isn't just theory. Check out these real-world numbers. The life sciences company Promega saved 135 hours in just 6 months by using AI to draft email campaigns. Think about that. That's time their team immediately got back to spend on higher-level strategy. Okay, another huge one is data analysis. And honestly, this one is a total game changer. Why? Because it democratizes access to insights. Anyone can upload a spreadsheet or even a screenshot of a dashboard and just ask questions in plain English without knowing a single line of SQL or Python.
Look at what Poshmark is doing. Their finance team uses AI to make sense of millions of rows of data. This completely elevated their role. They went from just being number crunchers to becoming real strategic advisors to the business.
Okay, so once you start brainstorming with these primitives, you're going to have a ton of ideas. Which is great, but the next crucial step is focus. You need a system to figure out which ideas are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck, the fastest.
And this simple impact/effort matrix is the perfect tool for the job. You just plot every idea on this grid based on its business value and how hard it is to do. You're looking for that sweet spot in the top left, the high-value, low-effort, quick wins. These build momentum, prove the value, and earn you the right to tackle those bigger, more ambitious projects in the top right.
After you've gotten good with those individual primitives, the real magic happens when you start chaining them together into multi-step workflows. This is where you leap from just making a single task more efficient to making an entire process way more intelligent.
And here's what that might look like for a marketing campaign. You start with the research primitive to see what's happening in the market. Then you use data analysis to figure out how big the opportunity is. Next, ideation to brainstorm the strategy. Then content creation to draft everything. And finally, automation to get it out there. Each step is powered by AI, totally transforming the process.
So the big takeaway here is that getting started doesn't have to be some massive, complicated project. You can actually start this whole process today with a really clear, simple plan.
And this really gets to the heart of the mindset of true AI leaders, like the CEO of Moderna. They're not just thinking about plugging in a new tool. They are fundamentally rethinking and redesigning how work gets done across every single part of their business.
And that brings us right back to you. We'll leave you with one final, practical thought to get you going. What is the very first annoying, repetitive, low-value task that you're going to add to your team's anti-to-do list? Answering that simple question, that's your first step.